Thank you for joining our webinar this morning on the key improvements your website needs in 2026. We're pleased to welcome experts from across the spectrum on this topic. We're glad to welcome our panelists today, Jennie Gilbert from RedChirp, Chris and Cathy Huyghe from Enolytics, Susan DeMatei from WineGlass Marketing, and myself, Dan Pendergast from Bottle 360. To begin, let's take a look at our agenda. First, we'll be seeing some of the innovations that Bottle 360 are bringing to the table to make it easier for wineries to manage their website store and content. Next, we'll hear from Jennie Gilbert at RedChirp about the importance of texting and chat with your website. Next up is Cathy and Chris from Enolytics to show how their platform gives you an important edge with valuable insights from your data from different systems. And last but not least, Susan from WineGlass Marketing will share how to future-proof your website. We look forward to the presentations. So without further ado, let's get started. If you haven't heard much about Bottle 360, we'd love to share that we've created an all-in-one DTC winery platform that's easy to use. It's designed for how wineries really work. Since day one, we've been providing relationships to wineries where they can call us and immediately speak with someone without a phone tree. They can email us and get a response in just a couple minutes from a real person. Our clients receive 24/7 US-based support whenever they need it. Our clients truly feel heard when they're giving us features that they like to see. And we've been working tirelessly to continue to improve our platform. We're bringing the most stable, most robust all-in-one platform that's been seen without the need for an endless list of paid add-ons or plugins. And we're providing an ethical pricing model that's been entirely missing from the wine industry. We'd like to show you something that's never been done before in the wine space and to share with you the benefits that we're already seeing with our WordPress bridge. We're making it easier for wineries to set up their web store and get it running faster than ever before. We wanted to give you control over the look and feel, the elements, without you having to learn how to code. Now, we've been able to help a winery with an existing WordPress website launch a new web store in about 15 minutes from start to finish. This plugin's been beneficial for two main options. Either your web designer can provide you with their amazing design and skills for your website, and then easily polish up your store with our WordPress integration without needing to write hundreds, if not thousands, of lines of code. And if you already have an existing website, you don't need a redesign if you don't want one, but you can use our WordPress bridge to easily set up your store appearance and look and feel. We wanted to give you the control where you could easily customize the look and feel of all of the different elements, like your colors, your button styles, your fonts, and more. This saves you a ton of time getting set up, and it makes your web store so easy to maintain moving forward. In our WordPress plugin, you can go into the styling studio to get started and begin making your customizations. Change your overall brand colors for the web store and make sure they match the rest of your website. Choose from a selection of widely used fonts, or even pull Google fonts to control the way that your website appears. Customize your button text, shape, and color, whether you want a crisp, sharp look or a modernized brown feel. We're excited to provide this groundbreaking integration that truly is the first of its kind for the wine industry, making it the best WordPress plugin in the world for you and for your winery. We're so excited to be able to allow wineries to set up your website store without having to dig so deep into the code. And we'll be expanding this to other platforms in the near future. So next up is Jennie Gilbert, founder of RedChirp. RedChirp helps more than 1,000 wineries connect with their customers through text messaging. Built specifically for wineries, it helps DTC teams execute better communication strategies across the spectrum, from web chat and club communications to shipment notifications, reservation reminders, automated messages, marketing campaigns, and so much more. Jennie Gilbert, co-founder of RedChirp, is joining us today to share practical ways text messaging can create a better website experience and drive more wine sales. So Jennie, we welcome you.
Thank you so much for asking me to join you today. It was, Dan, super exciting to be with this great group. Now, I could spend hours talking about all the ways wineries are using text messaging, but I promised Dan I'm going to stick to 8 minutes and focus on a few strategies specific to your website and how text messaging can help you turn more website visits into relationships and sales. So many wineries have gorgeous websites. But no matter how wonderful your site is, there will always be people who have questions and want to talk to your amazing team members about them. And even though we're busy, we should want to talk to them too. That's how relationships are built, and that's how loyalty is created. Different people have different preferences about how they want to contact you. Some people like to call, some people like to send an email or submit a form. And a really significant portion of consumers report they want to be able to text you. Now, sometimes customers lie, so it's also really useful to look at data about what they actually do on your website in real life and not just what they report in surveys. So let's look at what consumers do with RedChirp's web chat feature, which lets a customer ask a winery to text them back to answer their question. It looks like what you see on the screen here. Have a question, text us here. Consumers have used this web chat feature to ask wineries to text them back over 300,000 times last year. So I'm sure not every single customer wants to text with you, but based on what consumers say and what they actually do, too big a group want to do this to ignore. RedChirp Web Chat is one of the easiest ways for your customers and for your own teams to make this possible. Now, this data might surprise you a little bit. It is younger wine lovers that use this web to text chat, but it's not just our younger consumers. Here are very 6 different size wineries, and look how similar the average age of consumer who uses web chat is. They're all between 56 and 61 years of age across this group. But more importantly, look at the breadth of ages engaging here. It's everyone from barely 21 to octogenarians and beyond. We know customers love this, but practically speaking, it also has to be something that your team can manage, especially since DTC teams run so lean and are already so busy. The good news is that web to text chat is so much more manageable than the older style of in the browser chat. If you're chatting in the browser, you have seconds to reply before that customer leaves the site and is no longer reachable. Most wineries just don't have the staff to do that. But with web to text chat, there is so much more grace because text messaging is asynchronous and everyone knows that. Now, of course, everyone wants an answer right away. But if you just can't get to it for half an hour, you can still text them back later and reach them, even if they're no longer on your website. Now, our team helps you set this all up so RedChirp notifies the right people when these come in. Now, if you're a small team, it might be the same person for everything. Or maybe it varies depending on if it's a question about membership versus visiting. You can see here in this example, it's set up to notify John and Lisa when this question comes in. If they don't answer in 5 minutes, it will try again. If no one's answered in 10 minutes, it will move on to stage 2 and notify Ashley as well. We'll automatically skip your team members that are unavailable. Maybe it's their day off today. And you can safely notify multiple people at the same time because RedChirp handles the traffic control. It's actually physically impossible for 2 people on your team to answer the same web chat. We'll also help you set it up to automatically text people if it's taking longer than you'd like to answer them, or maybe they ask this question outside of normal business hours. And that helps set the right expectations that their question was received and when your team will be able to reply. So your customers like this. It's manageable for your team to actually handle and execute. And we know that these web chats generate revenue. We pulled up our nerd pants. We studied just shy of 100,000 real incoming web chats. And we found that those led to almost $12 million in sales within a few days, meaning the average web chat led to about a $119 order. That's just because these tend to be really low funnel, close to purchase questions. And if we can make it easy to ask us and get the answer, it unlocks those additional sales. Okay, now we know not just web chat, but all kinds of text message sales campaigns, they really work to generate revenue. We completed our third annual analysis of wineries' text promotions. And it was 2025's data, biggest study yet. We looked at over 19,000 campaigns set by 826 different wineries to over 24 million recipients. And those text campaigns generated over $214 million of sales. And these specifically are non-club sales. But you have a gating issue. You can't do this proactive outreach, whether it's text campaigns, email campaigns, unless you actually have your customers' information, and better yet, express written consent to reach out to them. And that's another place to get your website involved in helping enable that. Most wineries have some kind of pop-up on their site that collects email signups. And that's great, but we can do even better by replacing it with one that collects both email and text messaging consent. If you haven't set up RedChirp's Lightboxes yet, that's exactly what they do. It's super easy, and it's a great way to make sure that your website is inviting your best prospects and customers to keep in touch with you even after they leave. Okay, those are my top tips about how text messaging should be integrated into your web experience. But I also want to give you a quick heads up about something really big that's coming down the pipeline, RCS. RCS is a totally new type of text messaging that's really exciting. RCS messages don't come from a phone number. Instead, they come from a verified business with your logo and contact information prominently displayed, even if you've never texted them before and they haven't saved you in their phone. These messages can include larger and higher resolution media files. You can even put multiple pictures in them to make an image carousel. And speaking of your websites, they also can include action buttons for the first time. So you can have buttons like Shop Now or Learn More that take you to a specific page on your website without having to list a huge, long, ugly URL in your text message. So far, alcohol content has been disallowed in RCS, but we've been working directly with the largest RCS aggregator to change this. And as of this morning, we have 13 winery brands officially registered and approved. Our beta testers have just sent out some of the industry's first RCS messages in July. It's really exciting. It's going to be a huge game changer in even further connecting your text messaging and web channel. Dan, thank you so much for letting me join today and share some of these things we're most excited about.
Thank you, Jennie, for that great information on growing winery e-commerce with the use of text message marketing and just the full scope that it provides. It's really exciting. So now for our next presenter, we have Cathy and Chris Huyghe. We have their co-founders of Enolytics with us. Enolytics is changing the way wineries grow through the power of data. Enolytics provides data-driven business intelligence, advanced analytics through their user-friendly platform. We're seeing that this advanced analytics that integrates wine club, point of sale, e-commerce, inbound, and wholesale depletion data. Their customer support is world-class, including live workshops and webinars, a robust support portal, a powerfully trained AI agent named Robin, who addresses 70% of customer inquiries. And they are proud to count several of America's leading and most innovative wineries as customers who rely on its industry-leading technology to grow and thrive. So, Cathy and Chris, we invite you to now present.
All right. Jennie, the RCS thing is super exciting and super great results. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And I'm coming in hot here and on a timeline, so we're going to move quickly through this. Dan, thank you so much for the introduction to Enolytics. I wanted to talk about two things in particular about the benefits of working with Bottle 360. Benefit number one, and I just feel like this is important to say. Bottle 360 is real people who really care. And I don't say that lightly, but I just thought this was important to say, especially about Tim and Catherine. And they're frankly nice people, and we love working with them. They're our newest partner, our newest DTC integration partner, and we couldn't be happier, A, to be working with them, and B, to be on this webinar with you. So thank you. Shifting to benefit number two, what's possible with the data. The second benefit of working with Bottle 360 has a lot to do with and Chris will speak to this, with the effort that the Bottle 360 team makes to make the data better and to make things more possible. And this means adding things to the API. It means working in a way that makes it very smooth and very smooth and seamless integration with Enolytics. Because there's gold in the data. There's gold in the data for wine. And we're here, and Bottle 360 is here to help wineries do that and to find and mine that data over time. Chris, can you take yourself off mute and speak to this slide in particular?
Yes. So this is actually very interesting as we have Jennie on here from RedChirp. We obviously got Dan from Bottle 360. And then there's, one of the greatest marketing minds in the wine industry. Susan is also here. And, she does a lot with, marketing and automations and campaigns. And guess what? All of this data is coming into Enolytics. So now we're looking at Ball 360, which is a great system, by the way, and they do some fantastic things. Especially one of the things we like the most is that they look at products, a wine as a single product, and underneath it, you put your vintages, which is really nice because that means that you have very nice wine names and things like that. That later on, when we're going to go into some examples, is really going to pay off some dividends. So great system in Ball 360. We also integrate with Talk, our reservation systems. We know a lot of Ball 360 customers are also using Block 55. We're talking to Block 55 to integrate with Enolytics. We integrate with the marketing system, the major ones, Klaviyo, MailChimp, and Campaign Monitor. And notice that we also put in RedChirp in a separate column because RedChirp isn't like the others. It's a two-way communication system, as you heard from Jennie. And we do see that when you do automations, promotional automations through RedChirp, that they actually bear a lot more fruit than if you just do them through the classic marketing system. So when you bring all of this together, then you'll get this into Enolytics, and Enolytics becomes this center of truth for all of your sales and marketing data. It brings in your CRM, your reservations, your marketing data, and now you actually can have one profile for your customer that includes all of that. And that makes it so powerful. Right, Cathy?
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. And can you talk for just a moment, Chris, about what's possible in terms of how the data is structured? I know that you work with Bottle 360's engineers to make sure that it's structured and coming through in a very careful way to get the kind of results that the wineries are looking for.
Yeah, and so let's talk about that for a second. So Bottle 360 has a very good API. It's very robust. And one of the things I was mentioning before has been very good is their products, the way they're looking at products. And when Enolytics goes and does predictions, or Enolytics goes and says, this is the best customer to tie to this opportunity, this kind of data from Bottle 360 is immeasurable. Because what happens often is that in the other CRMs, which are great too, by the way, but you'll have, sometimes a 2022 rosé with an accent on the E, and then the next year is going to be without an accent on the E, and it's very hard to actually define what the wine name is, right? Because all the wines actually have their own SKU. In Bala 360, that all goes under rosé, under the wine name rosé, and then with its own vintages, which makes it really good because Enolytics actually does predictions based on wine name. We look at the historical data and starting to see who's doing that. So that's really where this is coming in. Now, once we have all of this information and we bring in the Ball 360 data, we bring in the data from RedChirp, we bring in the data from the marketing systems, from the reservation systems. Now we have one profile, and then we can actually start doing AI summaries based on all of this. So what you're seeing right here, Cathy, is an AI summary. Before you go and make the sale, can I actually go and look and understand my customer in a really good way? This is one of the examples here that we're seeing.
Right, and I'm glad that this screen has been up for a little bit here so that people can try to get a sense of the natural language that we're able to use for an AI summary for every single customer in a winery's database. And the origin of the data through Bottle 360, for example, is one of the ways that this is possible. And the clarity of the structure of the data makes these things possible. I'm going to keep moving forward here and look at the campaigns. You had mentioned the two-way integrations, RedChirp, Klaviyo, MailChimp, as well as with Talk directly. This is the overview of the campaign page that marketers in particular are able to see within Enolytics. So the idea is to show how they did. How did the performance do? How much was delivered? How much was replied to? Both for emails as well as text, as well as personal outreach. So just to kind of give an overview of that. And then moving forward, Chris, again, into the Sell More Now module, which is really sort of the hallmark of Enolytics, how this all comes together. A couple examples that we want to show you. If you can talk about, Chris, Pitch These Wines. So Pitch These Wines, the module, you can see it highlighted on the left here. We're hyper-segmenting lists according to who exactly to pitch to, what exactly to pitch, for what reason, and how much money you're going to make when you do. So here we're looking at the next vintage of these wines, Chris. Can you talk us through
and
that?
this is very interesting, and this actually goes back to the subject of this webinar, right? Which is really, your website. What you can do here is create very high likelihood campaigns, with high likelihood of success, and then create these campaigns, send them out via RedChirp or via Klaviyo or the other systems with a message then to actually go and buy on your website. These are super high likelihood campaigns. If you look at that, for instance, the third line there, this person already owns the last 11 vintages of this wine and just doesn't have your latest one yet. These people are just waiting for your call. This isn't a sales transaction anymore. This is a relationship. They're now waiting for you to call them and actually say, offer them that 2024 Misty Mountain Pinot Noir that we have on there. So this is what Enolytics does, is when you come in the morning, this entire Sell More Now module, when you come in the morning, who should I be calling? What opportunities are out here? What sales opportunities are out here? But also, who should I be contacting as far as retention? Who's starting to disengage from my winery? Who's at risk of leaving my club? Those are the kind of things that are there. When we go to the ready to buy customers, we'll actually see, for instance, who does Enolytics, based on pattern recognition, predict will be coming to your tasting room, or who is actually late for his visit to your tasting room that we should be reaching out to. All of these things are right there, and then you can go and reach out to all of these customers. So we got all of that covered nicely in Sell More Now. A lot of our customers see Enolytics as a revenue generator, not as a cost center, because when you follow up on all of these opportunities that are there, you're guaranteed to grow your business.
Right. And the last piece, Chris, that I want to leave with is here we're looking at the predicted tasting room visitors. You also had mentioned predicted website buyers, which is right next to it.
Predictive website buyers are there too. We go and we look at patterns. These people every year they buy around October, because Thanksgiving is coming up and all that. We will list them right here for you so you can actually go and proactively go and reach out to them.
Awesome. There's a lot more to show, but I want to be respectful of the time and to our hosts, and just wanted to leave my contact information up if anybody wants to talk further. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Cathy, for this information on using the data that your winery creates to drill down and boost your sales in this way. All right, we are now pleased to have leading industry marketing expert Susan DeMatei with us as our last presenter. Susan founded WineGlass Marketing and is now the creative director for Colangelo and Partners. Founded in 2011, WineGlass Marketing was the wine industry's leading integrated marketing agency, helping wineries grow through strategy, branding, websites, e-commerce, digital advertising, email marketing, social media, and analytics. And in 2024, WineGlass Marketing joined Colangelo and Partners, one of the world's leading fine wine spirits and adult beverage communication agencies, expanding their clients' access to global public relations, influencer marketing, trade communications, and international marketing expertise, while continuing to specialize in winery direct-to-consumer marketing. Susan, we welcome you to share your presentation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. So today we're going to talk a little bit about your WordPress plugin. One of the biggest misconceptions that wineries have is that they need to update their website every 5 to 6 years. In reality, consumers don't actually expect a new website every few years, but what they do expect is something that feels current every time they visit. So they want a whole bunch of micro updates. Google actually likes that for SEO as well. And this is mostly because they aren't comparing a winery website to another winery website. They're comparing a winery website to every other digital experience that they've had. Amazon, Apple, Williams-Sonoma, Airbnb, their bank. Every company they interact with teaches them what a trustworthy online experience looks like. So the question is not whether a winery needs a new website, but the question is whether your website continues to inspire confidence from the first click all the way through the checkout. Increasingly, that is where we've struggled in the wine industry. We've built websites at WineGlass Marketing here for a long time. We've probably built 600 or 700 of them. And people often ask us why we recommend WordPress. Well, the answer is pretty simple. WordPress was designed to manage all sorts of different types of content very well. As wineries, we tell stories. We have vineyards, people, history, recipes, videos, events, wine clubs, hospitality experiences, blogs, seasonal campaigns, new releases. We have a lot of different stories to tell, and we need a lot of different format options to do that. Marketing teams need the flexibility to create different landing pages, publish different types of content, improve your SEO, and evolve your website, but without rebuilding it every couple years. And this is why we like WordPress, because it gives you that flexibility. It also gives you something equally important, which is choice. This is an estimate from December 2025 of over the top 10 million websites that exist on the internet today. WordPress powers over 60% of them. The next biggest player is Shopify, just at 7%. So that shows you how much of the internet is powered by WordPress. This means for you, almost every professional that you're going to hire knows how to work in WordPress. Every developer knows how to work in WordPress. Every SEO consultant that you want to hire knows how to work in WordPress. This means that wineries are no longer locked into a proprietary ecosystem where only a handful of specialists know how to support the platform. Now, as an agency, that's incredibly important to us. We'd rather spend our time creating better customer experiences than teaching our employees or contractors how to use a custom software. So WordPress allows us to bring in best-in-class designers, developers, and marketers together using a platform the entire industry already knows how to use. For years, however, there has been one challenge. The website can be beautiful, but the shopping experience wasn't. The missing piece has always been e-commerce. The goal on most websites is to funnel customers from the homepage to the product page to the cart, checkout, and confirmation. To get through that funnel, consumers have to make 100 tiny little decisions on what your website is showing them. Every page reinforces confidence or will introduce doubt. Unfortunately, many wineries unintentionally break that trust at the exact moment you're asking them for their credit card. So, a beautiful website followed by an ugly shopping cart can send the wrong message. Here's an example. We've all seen it. The winery has invested in beautiful photography and thoughtful storytelling and an elegant homepage. And here, I want to click on the store. All of a sudden, the URL changes. The navigation changes. The fonts change. The footer is now gone. I can't get back to the front area here. I can't figure out how to get back. The design is very different. The customer immediately realizes they're no longer on the same website. What's more, on this website, the plan the visit button brings you to yet a third entirely different website. Technically, they're still buying from the same winery or the same, facility in this case, museum, but psychologically, things have changed. They now don't know if they can trust this. The question is whether not whether the winery needs to build a new e-commerce system, but whether the e-commerce system can fit inside the existing design. Even forgiving the change in navigation, typically these .shop sites are usually very basic and they're kind of ugly. Brand standards should not stop at your shopping cart. It's just like if you had an unkept tasting room. I had fun in AI building this. But what if all the bottles didn't match and, everything was kind of propped up and the fonts didn't match and there was no information on some things and the glassware doesn't match? You wouldn't present your winery this way. And one of the biggest mistakes I see wineries making is they treat your e-commerce site just like a utility instead of an extension of the brand. Every website, every winery has invested in its personality, its logo, its type, its photography, its colors, its tone of voice. And its overall aesthetic is carefully considered because you can communicate quality before a single bottle is purchased. So why do you think their standards should disappear right at the moment you're asking them to add to cart? Every inconsistency will introduce uncertainty at that exact moment that you need their trust the most. Today's consumers not only expect one continuous experience from the homepage through the product page and the shopping cart, but anything less than the same style feels disconnected, and disconnected experiences create hesitation. There's a lot of studies on this. Your design in your cart really does matter and really will affect your ROI. So that's why we like Bottle360's WordPress integration, because it solves that problem. It allows the e-commerce to become part of the website instead of just being on top of it. Consumers don't think, oh, the cart isn't on brand. They just have a simple continuation. Now, your product page is now part of your tasting room. This is probably the biggest shift we've seen in most recent years. Most wineries still organize information they did, 10 years ago. Some people have an Our Vineyards page, or they have a winemaking page, or they have another page that has a PDFs of all their tasting notes or their scores. Videos live somewhere else. Awards live somewhere else. Then there's the shopping cart. But consumers don't shop that way. Nobody visits Macy's to read how sweaters are made and manufactured. They actually go into the cart and decide right there in the cart if they're going to purchase it. All of the information I need to buy my sweater is right there. And even so, there's a chat bot there to help me if I still am apparently really confused and need help finding my own sweater. So all of the tools are right there in the cart that you need, and you don't have to go all over the website and look at it. So my one advice for people in the wine industry is don't spend all your time on your beautiful website pages and then leave your cart and the products in your cart to like a part-time tasting room person to fill that in. That should be some of the most important content on your website is what is displayed with your products. One more benefit that gets overlooked is for years wineries were choosing e-commerce platforms because they had to choose their development partner based on whether that person had to know that system. That's backwards. A winery should choose the best designer or the best agency that they want to work with, and not one that just happens to specialize. Your platform shouldn't be recommending your designer to you. Because Bottle 360 integrates directly into WordPress, that really kind of that limitation is now gone. Any designer that knows WordPress can build in Bottle 360. That opens the door to an enormous community of talented designers and developers and SEO and digital marketers who work in WordPress every day. So instead of learning a custom website platform before you can do great work, they can focus on what they do best, which is representing your brand digitally. So the best winery websites aren't simply attractive, they actually build trust. They tell compelling stories, they remove friction, and they create one seamless experience from the first homepage to the final order confirmation. That's why we're excited about the Bottle 360 WordPress integration, and it finally brings together what wineries have wanted for years, the flexibility of the world's most widely used content with an e-commerce platform that is built for the needs of wineries. When these two things work together, customers don't notice the technology. They just know that buying wine is easy.
Thank you so much, Susan, for presenting that with us and sharing all those wonderful insights. I appreciate it. And thank you to all of our panelists and speakers who joined. We will now open it up to a question and answer session. So we'll look forward to answering your questions now.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, hi.
Here we are live and in person.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Now we can.
Yes.
Excellent. I had my microphone muted. So just thank you again. We had a really good question for RedChirp. First of all, question here: what are the fees for the website to text?
Oh, happy to help with that. So, one thing that's a little unusual about RedChirp is we don't pick apart all the things that RedChirp can do and make separate fees for them. So, if you subscribe to RedChirp, you can make use of any and all of the features of RedChirp that you'd like, no matter what level you decide to subscribe to. So our subscriptions start at $99 a month for the solopreneur plan, which works really well if you've got, one or two people that are handling everything. And if you need to scale up, we have other plans as well. And it includes everything RedChirp does, including web chat.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. Amazing. Now there's some other questions here. First of all, for WineGlass marketing, for Susan, WineGlass, you build pre-made website templates for various platforms. What's the trade-off between starting from a template versus a fully custom build?
That's a great question. A template is going to have places for you to upload images and text. You can always, if you have a developer or you yourself want to do some YouTube videos, let's just say there's a space for one image and you want two. You'd have to fiddle with that. If you don't have it, even if you don't have a template, you have a template, because how you upload what they call themes on WordPress it is a very, very loose template where it'll upload your fonts and your button style and things like that. So it's really the amount of time you want to spend fiddling with it. Then that's a technical term that we charge for, fiddling time. But you're going to upload your images and type in your text or cut and paste your text. But in a template that we've built for the wine industry, we've already pre-configured, like, here's what a typical wine club page looks like. Here's what a typical recipe page looks like. So we've kind of just taken the themes and gotten you halfway there with sort of layouts for that. However, templates are just templates and can be augmented, changed, added to, as you wish. It typically saves you about, I don't know, maybe 25 to 30% on your development time, depending on how much content you have for your budget.
Great. Thanks for that question. Next question we have here is for Cathy, for Enolytics. So the advanced segmentation can spot things like club members who haven't visited the tasting room, or bought old vintages but not the new release. Super valuable. What are some other key segmentations that you would initially recommend?
Yeah, for sure. So especially when it comes to club members, people who are at risk of leaving, you're at risk of dropping out. Obviously, club members are an incredibly valuable piece of your DTC world, and you don't want to lose them ever. So a lot of the segmentation is informed by signals that we pick up, that we track, based on things like, have they opened the last email? Do they engage on text? Have they bought online? That sort of thing. And so there's quite a lot of signals that we factor in to identifying when somebody's at risk. So it gives you a really granular and careful view to reach out to those, to prepare yourself to reach out to those customers and have a conversation.
Awesome. And that sounds like that would be a really good connection with RedChirp too, if they respond on text, and then you can amalgamate all that data into one full context piece. So that sounds, yeah, that's amazing. I have another question here. What is the migration? So this is for Bottle 360. What does the migration process look like for a winery moving from historical club and moving over to your club data? So hold on, let me read it properly. Look, what does the migration process actually look like for a winery moving historical customer data, club data, and order data from another platform? So the migration process, we handle that for you, and we try to take as much off your plate as possible. We'll need your assistance in some portions, but we try to make it as easy as possible. We don't give you 100-step checklist that you have to follow all by yourself. We do really provide a white glove service in that respect, so that it doesn't have to be as stressful as it may seem to be. We have so many that move over, and we've got such a quick turnaround time on this, and we triple check the work to make sure that the data goes over smoothly. There's a lot of really nice elements that we put into place so that migration is easy and simple. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Another question here for Jennie for RedChirp, and then we'll probably take this as the last question. And then if you have any other questions after this, you're welcome to provide those. And we can follow up afterwards. For a winery already running email through MailChimp or Klaviyo, how does texting change the customer behavior differently than just email?
That's a really thoughtful question. First of all, we never recommend that you replace email with text messaging. Email is still important, and you're going to have different customers that have different preferences. And even those preferences change throughout the day or based on the topic, right? One great thing about email is you can send a lot of it at low cost and it's not very intrusive, right? So if it's something that's not urgent, like your shipment is out for delivery today and someone needs to sign up for it, there's really, very little risk with sending an email. You're not bothering someone. But there are other types of experiences, especially if there's urgency involved, like that shipment example, where text can be a great complement to fit into those communication patterns because text messages do interrupt people's days, and most people read and see those text messages right away. So I wouldn't say it's about replacing one with the other. You have to think carefully about your customer's journey with you and when it makes sense to reach out by email versus text message versus both. There are times that both work well. And one thing I love about Enolytics is they track all of that engagement in email channels and text messaging. So you have more information available to you than you have ever had before to help make that decision. Similarly, like the AI recipient optimization in RedChirp is a great way to decide that you're going to text this group of people based on the AI recommendation on how they've been interacting with your brand and your text messages so far. So, and Susan, I'm sure, has tons of great advice as well on how you decide what you're going to send out and via what method. Do you want to, Susan, I can see like you might have something fantastic to add there.
No, I'm agreeing. I think it's all the consumer choice. You're going to see your consumer. You're not changing your consumer's behavior.
Yep.
The way to think of it is, what does my consumer want to do? Some of them still might want to call. Some of them might really like the email, and you can send them a million text messages and they won't look at them. But some might get a text all of a sudden and be like, awesome, finally they're here and I don't have to open my emails anymore. I hate my emails. I mean, from just talking to your colleagues and friends, everybody, we all have our own preferences. So if you start to try different things, just really pay attention to the responses. And you might end up having, if you really were sensitive to it and we all had all the time in the world, you would have different lists of like, these are the people that like text and these are the people that like email and these are the people that I need to call and remind them that their club shipments do, but that would be a wonderful world if we could live in that world.
We live in that world.
Kathy, as
We live
you
in
have
that
all
world.
this data, right?
We can
Right,
do that.
Kathy can tell you. Yeah.
We can actually do that. If you want to look at your list, and this goes back to the question that was asked before, how much more or what other ways can we segment? We can segment by people who want to receive texts. We can segment by people who prefer email or a phone call. So it's the power of the technology and the power of well-structured data, which is what Bottle 360 does really good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Amazing.
and one more very simple thing about this that people sometimes overlook. If you've been emailing a long time, which most of our wineries have, you might have a pretty significant list of people who've opted out of receiving your emails.
Yeah.
And that's also a very simple but very effective thing to do with text messaging is to reach out to some of those people that you aren't able to contact by email.
Yeah, or they have said they don't want to hear from you on email. That doesn't mean they don't ever want to hear from you. So try a text message. Absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant. Awesome.
You're gonna have to cut us off, Dan, or we're just gonna keep
we're just gonna
viewing.
We've got
don't get
these.
Crave us started on segmentation.
We've got these, this panel of geniuses here in the wine space, and it's just like these legends. I love it. I love to just be involved in this conversation, and everyone, attending is benefiting from all of this. It's awesome. So yeah, appreciate everyone who was able to join us this morning. We'll have a pre-recorded version that you can watch if you missed it. So we appreciate everyone here, and we hope that this was a super beneficial and educational panel for everyone today. So thank you so much, and until next time, we will see you, and cheers.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you all.
Okay,
Thanks for having us. I learned a lot from everyone. Thank you.
Have a
thanks.
good rest of your day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.